Namaste everyone. Well, in the last video we have discussed about how through prana, consciousness or the inner sun enlivens us, and how past life impressions, mind and intellect gravitates towards the inner sun. So if we understand the whole phenomenon, we also understand that why everybody has a unique way of perceiving reality or the world. Moreover, we have discussed two schools of philosophy which comes under metaphysics. One is ontology, where the approach and experiences all lies in matter. Whereas on the other hand, if you talk about epistemology, it gives a broader vision, which shows that there is a world beyond this material world. Moreover, if we look at from the other perspective, time is considered as absolute when we talk about ontology, whereas in epistemology it is considered as spherical, which opens the horizon of our minds, because it takes the awareness towards the ancient civilizations which were far advanced than us. If I have to make the things more clear, I would say Sanskrit literature, I'm indicating it towards Vedas, are full of abstract scientific theories and explanations. So today I'll be relating what modern science indicates towards reality. But before we move further, I would like to tell you that spirituality is still far ahead than science. And I would like to add one more point, that quantum science has given a hypothesis in which they have hypothesized the ground state of human being, which indicates towards Vedanta or Shunyata, which we would be discussing towards the end. And we can also relate the same thing which we talked before in the last video about the word yoga, which has been derived from the Sanskrit root word yuj, union, which indicates towards the union of individual soul with the cosmic soul. So let's come back to the modern science, and the hypothesis has given about the multiverse, which has been mentioned in Vedas too. So according to that, all animate and inanimate objects are universe within themselves, and this can be related with the concept of cybernetics, though we won't be talking about it because we are supposed to be focused on the ground state of human being, so we would discuss about the human being. So to make the things more interesting and more clear, I will introduce the three mechanisms. One is entropy, one is thermodynamics and information theory, because the whole phenomenon is happening in the cosmos and same is within the human body or in other animates or another inanimate objects too. So when we talk about human body, we can relate it with the theta waves or below, as it tunes one with the earth frequency. So when we tune to the earth frequency, we generate the scalar field. But I would like to make one thing clear before we move further, that we all have our existence on the quantum field. So it's a kind of a cosmic web on which we have our existence, and everyone has a unique field with which we interact with the cosmos. So now I come back to the point which I was making, that with theta waves we are more attuned to the earth frequency, which is a scalar field on which the healing takes place. So with this we can understand the mysticism behind our spine, because that's upright too. So if we understand that energy moves bidirectionally, yes, I'm referring it to the spectrum of light, and when we talk about entropy, it moves towards equilibrium, that is one direction. So when we are attuned to the ideal state, which is generating the scalar field, and when we prolong that state, the intensity of energy increases, and once it reaches the heart, where the cosmic soul and the individual soul, Jivatma and Paramatma, resides, and where the unstuck sound starts, we become more attuned towards reality. We become more intuitive. Remember, I mentioned about the ascension process, which we related with the movement of our solar system towards the galactic center. So that indicates our ascension. And when we are moving from the matter, I'm talking about the periodic table, towards the vacuum or 0 point energy, which is in the scalar field, we are resonating to the ideal state. So that's precisely we can relate with the global coherence, where we are conserving the energy and we are moving towards the higher spectrum. We discussed about the atom ether. That's where the gravity lies, and that's hold the entire spectrum, to be precise. So we'll talk about this later with respect to the Sankhya philosophy, 25 elements associated with it, and the ground state, which I have mentioned, as well as the 36 elements of Shaivism. So, but before that, I'll just tell you that the individual soul tries to retrieve the information from the cosmic soul. So once it synthesizes towards it, the more and more mystery gets revealed. So when we move further, so mystery in respect to the cosmic, with respect to the inner and outer cosmos, that vision, including the calculations which we related with the concept of epicycles and cycles of yugas, which comes with the intuitive faculty. So we won't be discussing it here. We probably will do it with the write-ups or the notes, because that requires the same frequency as we discussed, and all thoughts, all ideas are welcome which are leading towards it. So when the energy goes higher, when we are more attuned and it reaches the pineal gland, which is also known as cosmic antenna, and in Sanskrit we call it as Brahmarandra. So we understand the mystery more profoundly. I'm referring it to the information theory, from where the information comes, event horizon. And we can relate it, the same phenomena happening within, which we can relate with thermodynamics, the cell biology which is happening inside. So we are talking about protein synthesis, anatomy, physiology, psychology, alchemy of time and consciousness, which we related with the natural science in the last video, if we have, which we have discussed. So you can watch that if you want to know more about it. It indicates tuning to the natural science, where we relate, get the vision of how the Earth atmosphere, the 5 layers in the Earth atmosphere, can be related with the 5 layers of human existence. And the first layer is where the clouds are formed, weathers are changed. It's called troposphere. The second layer, how the chemicals are changing there. Third is about the sun and moon cycle, mesosphere. And then we have the 4th layer, where both the hemisphere of the Earth comes. And then the exosphere, which we relate to the quantum jump of consciousness, which we can relate with the mathematical calculation which are supposed to be done internally, as we related spine with Ananta, the infinite, and with the zodiac belt. So we have discussed about the ascension, how it's going, right? So it's more of mysticism we are relating to, or scientifically with the ground state of human being which has been given. So now, if we move further, the opposite side of it is when we are not attuned to the earth frequency or the scalar field. It's where the alpha, beta or gamma waves of brain gets generated. So it's depletion of energy. It's not healing. It's not cohesive. It's uncoherent. It's dissension process. So it's all the other aspects. So when we are attuned to the natural frequency, we are supporting the global coherence. And when we discuss about, so I believe this thing is quite clear now. Now, if we discuss about the other aspect, the broader concept of ground state, which has been hypothesized by the quantum science, once we understand the mechanism, how the energy flows bidirectionally, we understand how the vacuum or shunya or 0 point energy field would be created, which we can relate with Bell's jar experiment. And moreover, if we have the idea about the Sankhya philosophy and 36 elements of Shaivism and 25 elements of Sankhya, which we have just discussed the one element, ether, which is holding the gravity, the entire spectrum, and how it has been related with Sankhya philosophy. It is something which we relate with sound, and we also relate it with the bliss sheath. So that's something we can relate with the chemical aspect of element or the atom ether. So coming back to the point, as we have related with the vacuum and the Bell jar experiment, the ground state, or else through mysticism we can relate it with the calculations, right, which we related with calendrics, right? So that gives us the idea about the cycles and epicycles of yugas, and it should be understood with respect to the precession cycle of Earth and the other mechanism behind the Earth rotation. So we can, to be precise, we can relate this with 4 kind of sounds as mentioned in Shastras. One is the cross, Vaikari, which we normally hear. Second is a subtle sound. Third is yet subtle, and fourth is the transcendental, which we can relate with the Bell jar experiment as well as the calculations. So we are not talking about it as of now. We'll do it with the notes, most likely, as being discussed earlier. So probably on the sound, I can make another video to make it more clarify whenever required. So we'll be moving with our own pace as discussed earlier. And I believe the point has been put forth convincingly that how with the scalar healing field we are contributing towards the global coherence. So I'll take the leave for today, and all the suggestions are welcome. Namaste. Have a wonderful day ahead.